The moral um, absence, the absence of morality was clear in the Home Office under Suella Braverman, Priti Patel, and Theresa May. Amber Rudd, I withhold judgment. I met her at the 2019 election, and I thought she seemed quite a nice lady. She also took the rap for Theresa May's stupidity over Windrush. But what we are witnessing now is one of the most morally bankrupt rackets of modern government. A vast parasitic industry feeding off the backs of displaced, traumatized people. And the UK's asylum system uh, that has become a travesty under the last government is still creaking under Yvette Cooper, who should know better. The asylum system, designed in the spirit of the 1951 Refugee Convention, has become not a sanctuary, but a holding pen for human beings, while a handful of hotel chains, many once considered the dregs of the hospitality sector, rake in extraordinary profits simply because of the beneficence, the largesse of Suella Braverman and Priti Patel. Let's be frank. Britannia Hotels, repeatedly voted the worst hotel chain in Britain, is now earning over £90,000 in profit every day. Clear Springs Ready Homes, a company with no other business but housing asylum seekers, has seen its profits more than triple in 2 years, from £28 million to over £91 million. Stay Belvedere Hotels, now unceremoniously dropped by the Home Office for poor performance, made a record £51 million profit last year. These are not anomalies. They are the expected outcomes of a policy that married hostility and outsourcing and called it a migration strategy. The architects of this grotesque market were Priti Patel and Suella Braverman, and Suella Braverman has her eyes on the top job as leader of the opposition. These two, in their zealous pursuit of the hostile environment created by Theresa May, another act of stupidity, go slow in all but name, created a bonanza for substandard contractors. They guaranteed profits by turning human displacement into a procurement opportunity, and the result, hotels that once couldn't fill their rooms now enjoy block bookings, weddings, and local businesses be damned. And all of this because we refuse to process claims efficiently. The backlog is not some cosmic accident, it's the product of intentional political paralysis. Under Theresa May, the asylum processing system was gutted. Decisions are delayed for years, appeals are endless, and people, many of whom have fled war, torture, persecution, are held in limbo, confined to hotels that resemble prisons more than places of refuge. And yet the right wing talks about four-poster beds and five-star accommodation. If you cannot speed up processing, then there are humane and economically literate alternatives. Give asylum seekers identity cards and allow them to work, as asylum seekers are allowed to work in many countries in Europe. Let them earn, let them pay tax, let them enter the housing market and demonstrate their value, not through bureaucratic paperwork, but through contribution, their commitment to our ideals. As it stands, we pay £8 million a day to keep 50,000 people out of work. 50,000 people are under effective house arrest. This is neither compassionate nor is it fiscally rational. We must repeal the Nationality and Borders Act, the Illegal Migration Act, and the Rwanda Act, these three nonsense bits of legislation peddled by Suella Braverman, each a legislative middle finger to the Refugee Convention. If we believe that that 1951 convention is no longer fit for purpose, and frankly I think it needs reform, then let's convene an international conference and amend it. Let's stop pretending that indefinite detention in squalid hotels is anything other than an institutional cruelty. To remove Stay Belvedere from its contract is a flick at the cobweb. The true spiders are still weaving. Serco, Mears, Clear Springs, and the Australian firm Corporate Travel Management Yes, the same firm that ran the ill-fated Bibby Stockholm barge, complete with Legionella, bacteria and record costs, that firm has now been handed control of hotel contracts. This is not reform. It's recycling failure. And we must restore public control. Councils, not contractors, should run accommodation on a not-for-profit basis with democratic oversight. Vulnerable people should not be in a line item on someone else's balance sheet. Until we recognise that the asylum crisis is not merely about migration but about governance, we will remain trapped morally, economically and politically in a cycle of shame. We are not a cruel country, but we are being governed in ways that give cruelty a contract and call it policy. We need to end this profiteering. We need to end this purgatory. And in the name of dignity, we need to re-establish humanity. Humanity is not a luxury, but a British value. And we need to recognise that, and we need to practice that, and we need to export that and expose that. And that needs to be the mark of being processed in Britain through an asylum process. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It shouldn't be an act of endurance. It shouldn't be an act of punishment. It should be an act of welcome. It should be an act of hope. It should be a mark of our commitment to humanity over and above abuse. And we should be holding our heads high and say we are acting correctly where other nations have not. That's why people have come to our country. That's why they've fled from other countries, because they have been persecuted, because they have endured war, because they have been imprisoned for no reason, tortured, left impoverished by the systems of government. We should not be doing the same. We should not be holding these people in a situation that is unending. That is wrong. That is wrong. We are in effect caging people and telling them they should be grateful, and then telling the rest of the population that they're costing so much money. It's just wrong.